Go ahead, knock yourself out.
What is up guys, X-Edge here, and I hope everyone's doing well. This might seem like a little bit of a strange video to make as I'm only just bringing up a now dead game to light, but it does raise some questions of what an older fighting game could possibly be like if brought back, which I will explain in detail in this video. So as a fighting game fanatic, I always scout for, new fighting games on my radar. And I'm not talking about the big games like Tekken, Street Fighter, Injustice, and games like that. I enjoy looking at games with less exposure from the media and somewhat just reveal themselves in a very subtle manner until the games are either released or cancelled. So games I've been looking at recently at this time are games such as Omen of Sorrow, Million Arthur, Arcane of Blood, School of Ragnarok, Fatal Fighter. Where did that game actually end up? Capcom probably sued the company that made a game or something, I don't know. Blaze Strangers, and the one that we're focusing on first, and sadly the last time, is Killing Bites. Now this game was first announced back in September 2015. A trailer was released for the game, and that was all we had to go by. There was no nothing news about it. It was just, here's a trailer of supposed gameplay. They called it a gameplay trailer, but there was no gameplay. It was just a trailer, so that already was misleading. But regardless of that, it did look really good. It really gave off this bloody raw type of vibe. And every time I kept looking at articles and news on the game, people would always compare it to bloody raw, only because the chicks in the game, they kind of had this half human, half beast type thing going on. And I know that there's some sort of manga on it, which I'd never even heard of it, to be honest, but I might just look into it now just thinking about it. And unfortunately, even though they announced the game back in September 2015, only just a couple of weeks ago that they've announced that the game has been cancelled. So reading from this article, it says, after its reveal and first look back in September 2015 and a delay from 2016 to 2017, developer Fields announced that development for the PS4 and PS VITA Killing Bites game has been cancelled. In Fields' notice, it states that after its announcement in 2015, they focused on the game's multiplayer as the core and continued working on system and quality improvements. However, after a delay from the dissolution of the development company and optimizing the company's investment, the company has decided to cancel development of the game. The company apologizes from the bottom of their heart to all the fans who are looking forward to the release of this game and thank everyone for their support. So even though the game wasn't even out yet, I was already kind of interested in it, Like I said, two of my favorite fighting games of all time are my childhood fighting games, which are the Rival School series and the Bloody Roar series. I can only be hopeful that something happens with Rival Schools. I've heard rumors here and there that there might be, like a Rival Schools 3, and because it's Capcom, it's still a very, live company, and they could probably surprise us and eventually bring it out. But then they say the same for, Darkstalkers. Where's that gone? I thought there was supposed to be like a reboot or something for that game, I guess only time will tell. As for the Bloody Roar series, ever since, the end of Hudson, it's like we haven't heard anything from the game ever since. And, even like a HD version of the game would be nice. Just something, Games like that are just too good to just end up dying. And it's just been way too long now, over a decade or two now. Yeah, basically it's just been a really long time, and I would love for a game like that to eventually come back. That would be awesome. And as I said before, with this Killing Bites game, nobody knows what kind of game it was, but I have been, looking on the website, and we were kind of fairly certain it was going to be some sort of fighting game with these human animal type hybrid characters. That would have been something I've been really looking forward to, but unfortunately for something like this to happen, it's really a shame. And the only reason why I'm really bringing this up is because, I don't know, it's just really to express the love that I have for the Bloody Roar series. I would really wish something like that were to come back, and this was like the closest thing to it if it were to come out. Now I guess it's just the waiting game again until like another random fighting game is randomly announced, and then we'll just see what they put in it. I mean, Bloody Roar is such a unique fighting game series, and I don't think, you know, just having the odd animal character in the game can really make up for it. I mean, all the characters were transformed. It wasn't anything like, you know, really ridiculous, like, you know, transforming to a snake or a I don't know, but all I know is if they didn't make like a Bloody Roar 5, they probably wouldn't have gone that far, being able to like transform into a freaking shark that walks on land, or a bear. I'm sure they even had like an elephant in, I think it was Bloody Roar Primal Fury, the one that was on the GameCube. I never played that one, I only played all the console ones, so that was 1 to 4. I haven't touched the Primal one. That would have been nice. But the thing I'm trying to say is the game was so unique, and it just can't die, you know. Please at least let a HD version of the game be up and running. There's so many of these games. Look at even the PlayStation Network, how they're bringing back all these old Neo Geo fighting games of, you know, Fatal Fury, King of Fighters and all of that. Like, why can't they kind of do the same thing for Bloody Roar? I'm sure it's not that hard to do. It was nice when they had, you know, Bloody Roar 1 and 2 on a PlayStation Network. I've already got those games. I've got the digital versions of the games on PlayStation Network, and I also have the hard physical copies of the games. You know, that's how much I really like that, and I like to do the same thing with, you know, Rival School, if there were ever to be something like that. So I guess, you know, at this point, guys, we may just cross our fingers and then just see what happens in the future. I mean, yeah, we got games like, you know, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Dissidia, Final Fantasy, and all these other fun games coming up here and there, but the Bloody Roar series will always have a place in my heart. That's why I was so hyped up about this thing. I mean, just from the day that they announced it, every single time when I was looking up new fighting games here and there, this one was always on my mind. I always wanted to find out if there was like some new information on it, and nothing. They just, you know, announced the game, and then 2 years later, like, oh, sorry, we just, you know, stopped developments. And it's a shame because, you know, these things happen with a lot of games that I see, you know, where sometimes get announced and then something happens with the company, I don't know, funds and things like that. I don't know the side of these things. We just play, I'm just a consumer who plays the game, but I have a love for them as well, you know. So it really sucks to see things like that happen. That's why I've always sort of wanted to like branch into the whole, you know, Steam and Kickstarter thing. I want to see like people come up with these new fighting games and stuff, and there's so many of them now. I'm so glad that I actually got Steam and just even upgraded my PC, because now I can try things that obviously may not even come to the PS4 as of yet, and maybe will soon at a later date. But when it comes to PC and Steam and things like that, you have beta access, you have access to so many things, all these projects that are made by people here and there, and all these little projects that they have going on. Like, I want to be a part of that. I want to support these people with what they're doing, because at the end of the day, I love my fighting games, and if there's something I can support, then I'll definitely do it. I did it for the Arcana Heart 3, for it to come to Steam, and that was a success. That was really good. I'm currently sporting Fantasy Strike, such a great game. I love it whenever I make time for it. I always like to make videos on it, and I really hope that game, you know, eventually does make it to the PS4. And with a game like that I've been following for quite a while now, I can, you know, have my own inputs, you know, make a couple of videos here and there, show tutorials and things like that, my thoughts, you know, really keep up with the game as being like a supporter of it. And it's just a shame that a game that sort of had that potential, if it was to be released, you know, suddenly got cancelled. So it's a shame to see, it really is, but you know, these things happen. So as I said, we're just gonna have to, you know, keep our fingers crossed and just wait for the next best thing. But yeah, guys, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my little, I don't even know what it was, a rant or something, but it was just something that I really wanted to share and just, you know, get off my mind. But anyway, guys, have a good one, and yeah, take care. Peace.